Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Danielle Stinson with FrontStream. And some of you know us, some of you don't. So hopefully after this, you'll know a little more about us. Today, we're going to interview Freddy Guzman and ask him some questions about his experience with FrontStream and how that worked out. Freddy, how are you? You're on mute. Yeah, there we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Freddy Guzman. I'm the Revenue Processing Manager here at United Way of Greater Los Angeles. Took me a while to remember that. I just got a title change recently. So I've been with the United Way for 24 years now, going to my 24th year. Still going strong. Um, been working with FrontStream off and on for the last, I want to say, 15 years, tangentially. But in the last couple of years, I've been more involved than I have been in the past.
Love that. Well, congratulations on your title
Mhm.
change. And 24 years is impressive at anything. Uh, that's awesome. And thank you for the 15 years. That is great to hear.
Of course.
All right. Well, we will jump right in unless there's anything else that we need to start with. Going once, going twice. All right. Let's jump right in. So just we're going to talk to Freddy about his experience, what that looked like, and get into some detailed questions. So Freddy, I know you had worked closely with some of our FrontStream support team, and they were kind of helping and playing a role in your success, is what it appears to do. Can you share kind of how that relationship helped you prepare, troubleshoot, or optimize through your campaign season?
Sure. Like I just mentioned, in the past, I was more tangentially involved. We had a couple of first front end users that worked on the FrontStream product on a daily basis, but unfortunately, um, the our last core user left abruptly just a few months ago at the very peak of our campaign season, and I had to step in and really refamiliarize myself with just the process and how, we've done business with our clients with the FrontStream apps. And just getting to that was in and of itself super difficult. So I reached out to our FrontStream support staff for assistance, and not only did they take the time to assist me to try to refill, but actually was hands-on in actively engaging with me to get most of these tasks done. So as each campaign would kind of go through, my familiarization got much better. I'm starting to pick things up quicker, and I don't think I could have done any of that without having their, literally hand-holding support through the whole process. And to be quite honest with you, I'm still in that process right now. Our peak campaign season doesn't really end until the end of March. So I'm still in it, and the Front Street support staff has been right there with me, assisting me throughout the whole process.
Oh, that is great to hear. And thank you for
Mhm.
sharing and talk about trial by fire, having your core user of the platform leave right as you're kicking off. But thank you for being a trooper. And I'm very, very glad to hear that we helped you.
And I think everybody on this call, because they do have United Way experience, understands the many hat role, right? So fires come up, and there's nothing you can like do other than jump into a role and that you're not familiar with or that you don't do on a daily basis, but unfortunately you just have to do it just because of necessity. And then again, having the staff at FrontStream help you out, to adapt and change has been remarkable.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you. Kind of a follow-up question to that. And I'm very interested to hear your answer, knowing what happened in the beginning that you kind of
Hmm.
it was sink or swim. Um, was there a moment during this campaign where support from FrontStream, that FrontStream team made a tangible difference? Like was there just a very specific time or something that happened where they were just pivotal?
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. There wasn't necessarily one pivotal time. I think there were multiple points because at any one of the processes that we were working on, it could have broke because of deadlines and time restrictions. Everything needed to be done at certain intervals, and they were there to actually, help me and reassure that everything that I did, to confirm that everything that I did went through successfully and was ready to be used. But I think that the biggest eye-opening moment for me was when both Colleen and Jen were helping me with a a personnel file load where we were literally trying to break down differentiations and groupings within that file. So I had no familiarization with that, and I was not savvy at all to have figured that out in any way by myself. So they were instrumental in helping me get through that process. And now I'm a little bit more adept at, using what they taught me for future campaigns.
Oh, that's awesome. Those lists can be vast. So I
They're
understand
they
that completely.
yes, they're
Hey,
bewildering sometimes.
we've seen some of those United Way files and they're massive. So
Hmm.
that's good to hear. That makes me happy. Um, how did having a dedicated support partner change your confidence or your capacity going into campaign season? I know that kind of that person left right at the brink of it. So
Hmm.
how did we kind of help do more with less?
Well, having the support team readily available is a much more heightened, level of service than having just FAQs or web or like pre-recorded, training videos or anything of that nature. Because with items that are traditional support items, such as the ones I mentioned, they're usually generic and, widespread in terms of the information. But with having the dedicated support, the support is there to specifically address your immediate need for your immediate issue. So it's not an open-ended general answer that they're providing for you, which you can get at any other uh, media source such as FAQs or videos, but it's actually dedicated specifically to what your issue is at hand. So that in and of itself what made the world a difference.
Very, very good. That's a lot. That's campaign season's a lot for you guys anyway, but you were kind of up against
Hmm.
quite a hill to climb. But congratulations. It sounds like you had a successful season.
So far, so good. So we're still
Not
we're still
done
in
yet.
it. Yes, absolutely.
If you needed to give advice, like what advice would you give to another United Way chapter or a nonprofit in general who are considering investing in a fundraising software?
I think I as other United Way members on this call already know, I think our business is very nuanced. It's very specific. Most traditional software is not geared for the needs of an organization like let's say a United Way. Having the software that we use through FrontStream, you know, covers about 90% of what we do as a business here when it comes to fundraising for our outside workplace campaigns. So in it of itself, that is, I think, the most prime example for consideration for this product, because most United Ways have traditional you know methods of tracking pledges, of paying out designations, and if designations are chosen. So having all that already built in for something that where you don't have to do anything on the side or have to rebuild later, makes that much more helpful in doing your core business needs.
Yeah, agreed. Having to go back and redo things you've already done,
Hmm.
that's too much work. And you guys, time is a commodity for United Way. You
Absolutely.
see it every day.
Hmm.
Uh, do you have any plans for your partnership with FrontStream for the 2026 campaign?
I do, and I was speaking with Colleen about this a few weeks ago, simply because I'm literally trying to get back into the core use of it. So I want to see if I can get any more training seminars or built-in scenarios that I can use so that I can, use the tools that the FrontStream staff has provided so that I can, create training seminars or specific guidelines for our United Way here that are integrated with FrontStream, so that way we don't run into future issues like we have in the past that I mentioned with our staff movement or anything like that, so that there's a little bit more comprehensive understanding of both the product and what it can do for us as a United Way.
Understood. It's very important to build that content for future people or even for yourself next year because there's
Correct. Hmm.
sometimes in time from campaign to campaign. And thank you for mentioning Colleen being helpful. I'm a little biased, but she's one of my favorites. So that was the right answer. Um, there's Colleen. For those of you who have not met her, she's spectacular. Well, we kind of flew through some of the pre-organized questions that we had. Freddy, anything else that you want to share about FrontStream, that relationship, things that you wish you had known on the front end other than knowing how to use it and someone left? But anything else you want to add?
No, like I said, I pretty much covered everything, and I just like can't sing the praises enough. But I think the one thing that I do have a lack of, or is the fact that there's a lot of modules within the product itself that I am unfamiliar with because we don't need that. We don't need certain modules for our business needs, but just from an educational standpoint to know what these other modules that we don't use are, their functionality, their use, and maybe something that we can incorporate in the future would be extremely, extremely helpful. But other than that, like everything has been great.
Well, I couldn't write that answer any better. So I appreciate your feedback and your answers to my question. So, Ivy,
Real,
where do we want to go from here?
yeah, I was going to say, real quick, I did want to lift up one of the questions we received in
Oh,
anonymously, which was, would you be able to speak more to the way that you guys partnered together to thoughtfully design the pages and increase
oh,
conversions? And then at some point, if you wanted to get into kind of like the history of the way that eWay works and how you guys have a longstanding partnership with United Way, it looks like about 90% of our audience is actually not familiar with your guys' history. So I would highly recommend getting into both of those.
I love that. Okay. Freddie, do you want to start? Or this is more probably Freddie Colleen conversation because they worked very
Yeah.
closely.
Yeah, no, and I can take that over. So I know I have to prepare my United Way origin speech that I've given so many times. And many of you will probably know this, but United eWay started around 1999 in the dot-com boom era, and a bunch of United Ways got together with Worldwide and said, you know what, we need to get with the times. We need to be able to have an online pledging system that works for United Way and their unique models. So one pledge to many designations, unique reporting with where raised, and some backend functionality to help get those distributions, collections on those pledges and distribution out to all the designations. So a bunch of regional United Ways, big guys and United Way Worldwide got together and pulled some developers together and built what we know and love as United eWay. And then it took them about 3 to 4 years. So about 2003 is when it launched and it was starting to be used. It was a labor of love for sure in the United Way community. And then in 2008, eWay and Create Hope, which was another competitor really in that space for workplace campaigns, merged and became what we also know as Truist, which I'm sure everybody in the United Way world knows that name as well. So in 2008, they came together, and that was when we kind of started building up more of the national campaigns where we would run them um, directly with those clients and picking up more distribution and kind of building our base, our client base. And then in 2014, FrontStream acquired uh, Truist and pulled them into their, one of their many suites of fundraising tools. that a nonprofit can use to raise funds. And in that, it's a long history. I mean, if we're doing the math, it's about 27 years, so it's a long time. But in that time, we have serviced 15 million donors through the platform, through eWay. And with those 15 million donors, we've had over $5 billion processed through the platform. So that's my favorite stat in the whole wide world. I mean, 5 billion is a giant number. So and at present, because we do a lot of distribution, so at present, on a monthly basis, we distribute funds for campaigns that we manage and run to over 1,000 local United Ways. So in some way, shape, or form, whether you're a reseller with us in one of our clients, or we're distributing funds to one of your locals, we are we are in contact in some way, shape, or form with all of the chapters. So it's very cool.
I love that it was designed for United Ways by United Ways.
Yes,
I
it's
don't
my
know that a
favorite.
lot of people newer to the network would know that piece. So thank you for sharing that, Colleen, because I think that was maybe a missing part at the beginning here that people needed to kind of understand that for those who are attending today and even people who will listen to this later. So thanks. And
Yeah,
of course, we
absolutely.
love that you're a United Way professional.
I am. I know I should have started with that. I know. I'm just like,
Yeah.
let's talk about the history. So yes, I am a United Way alum. I started in 2008 at my local United Way, United Way of Greater Cleveland. And I was there. I started as an auditor in the pledge accounting department. So I was in operations, and when I left, I was eWay and database manager. In 2016 or 2017, I left and then came to work directly for FrontStream. So, and then worked directly with workplace clients and have been here since. So that's about 9 years, almost 9 years, 8.5, 9 years. So the majority of my career has been for or working for or with United Ways in some capacity. So
Well, and I think that means that you have their best interest at heart because
yes,
you
I
walked in their shoes and you were in the trenches
yes,
like all of us, right?
yes, absolutely.
So
Yes.
that's great. There's a couple questions and I'm not sure. So Ivy, thank you for the anonymous question. And if we already covered this, let me know because I'm like reading and listening and trying to be a part of the conversation. But would you be able to speak more to the way that you all thoughtfully design pages and increased conversions?
I think I can kind of talk through this a little bit, just as an account manager, and how more broadly, not just for United Way of Greater Los Angeles, right, but for all of what we refer to as resellers, United Way resellers, United Way partners. Um, We've implemented a lot of things. One of our big things that we try to do is, we communicate a lot with our partners, and we want to build a good enough relationship with them so that they can come to us with pain points, and we can, talk through what they're looking for, what's missing. There's always room for improvement. So some of the things that we've worked with our partners to implement over the past year or two is one, our mobile pledge experience. So it's kind of a more scaled down version. Still all the bells and whistles as far as data capture and pledge capture, but more user friendly, less code and skin work and that kind of stuff, more campaign in a box. So quicker setup, quicker turnover, it's less bandwidth for United Way for their staff to kind of get these things moving. So that kind of, frees up some time to, get them stood up and get them rolling on an online campaign instead of a paper form, that kind of thing. We've also implemented SSO included in the subscription for all of any of the reseller clients or companies that would like to come on and run a workplace campaign. If they haven't their employee count is under 4,500, then you have unlimited. We'll set you up with our in-house SSO. So in that regard, we all know how people are. And if they get frustrated with a pledge flow or a pledge process, they can't get into pledge. If they're having a bad day, they're like, forget it, I'm not doing it. So SSO kind of streamlines that process. They click a button, they're right in. Like it's less clicks, it's easier, more secure. So we've really seen upticks in participation with having the ease of getting on and pledging with that SSO, and it's very affordable, right? A lot of your clients, 4,500 employees and under, that's, huge. That's often a big majority of your workplace clients that you're running campaigns for. And, it's very easy to set up. We do it, we work with the IT teams and all that. So really, that would probably be our biggest endeavor in boosting, pledge rates and participation and conversion for sure.
Thank you for sharing all that.
Sure.
There was an additional question that came up as you were talking, so I want to ask this first. Does FrontStream talk to Andar?
It does not talk to Andar, but what we do have is our own in-house donor management system. So it's actually one of my babies of the year. We've been working so hard on this. This is our biggest tech project for the past most of 2025, where all of our other fundraising tools, our online auctions, our peer-to-peer, all talk to our central CRM, our donor management system. And we've spent the year integrating eWay into that process too. So now we have our own in-house CRM, our own donor management, and we've spent the past year integrating that into that donor management system. It's been a lot of work working with our dev team. I say I take them through United Way 101 so they understand how everything works with a one pledge to many designations and managing all of that and them understanding reporting and that kind of stuff. So our system currently does not talk to an outside CRM, but we do have an in-house one that it does work with.
And then there was another question from Gil. How is FrontStream different from other platforms specifically?
I think one of the big ones is that we have a dynamic relationship with the iGuide. So one of many, I would say. One, it was, like we said, it was built by United Ways for United Ways. But one of the big ones is that it is that dynamic relationship with the iGuide. So everyone that's been in the United Way world knows that you got to go in and update your iGuide every year, so that all of that flows. And so, that works with the front end pledge system for where raised reporting, right? So all of that ties in with the gift link table, what zip code is tied to what United Way, and then we'll present the donor with, based on that zip code that we have on that record, the focus areas and their partner agencies and all that. So that's a dynamic relationship that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to manage a database of your designations or your partner agencies. We have that relationship with Worldwide where it links up and you never have to worry about it. You go in and update your iGuide as you normally would, and the system takes care of that. And we're very familiar. We have that relationship with Worldwide. We're very familiar with the iGuide. So, if there's ever any issues, we're able to directly work with Worldwide to get all that sorted out too. So I think that is probably one of the biggest things that differentiates us from other platforms.
So I'm going to make no assumptions that there are people on the call today that are saying to themselves, one, I don't know what an iGuide is or who even on my team would manage the iGuide. Sure. Can you just speak to that just in case there's a few folks that aren't familiar what that is?
Sure. So iGuide is a focus area and partner agency database that United Way Worldwide manages. And usually someone in the operations teams at your local United Way, they will go in, they have a username and password, they will log in, and they will update all of those, partner agencies, right? You go through RFP or those change from year to year. And once that happens, before that campaign year kicks off, someone is responsible, usually in the operations team, to go in there and update that and manage that. So changing out focus areas, if those change from year to year, those descriptions, and then that database, United Way Worldwide will often send to other, platform users. It's like a stagnant kind of situation. It's literally a download. Here you go. But because we have that partnership with United Way Worldwide, we have a direct link with that. So it's a direct, so if you update something mid-campaign in your iGuide instance, that will feed directly into that front end and what that donor sees in real time when they come through the pledge flow for us. So really it's a designation database of all the United Ways, all the local United Ways and their focus areas.
Thank you, Colleen, for just
Sure.
going a little deeper on that, right?
It's
So
okay.
I'm going to take this one step further, and I have a question coming in from Gil. So maybe let's take Gil's question and then I'll follow back up with my thoughts. So let me get there. Do you interact with other marketing tools or digital tools?
eWay itself currently doesn't. And Danielle, I might pull you for this one, but our CRM and some of our other fundraising tools that all link together may. So I might
Yeah,
defer to you.
they on the yes, on the donor management side, they integrate with all the standard MailChimp, QuickBooks, all of the ones that are standardized kind of across the nonprofit space and marketing pieces. But not on Colleen's side of the house. That's something that we're working on now to unify everything that connects to what. So, but if you have something specific, if you wanted to send that, I can speak to that directly.
Okay. So my thought, I wanted to ask a question about, and I'm coming from the lens of, as a former United Way CEO, I was the one that updated the iGuide. I remember getting the email from United Way Worldwide, and every year I went in and did these steps, right? So some of these small to mid-size United Ways, there's 2-3 people on the team, and we're trying to understand all the ways that we can leverage the tools and the resources to help us. So after I update my iGuide, and let's just say that a large campaign that's part of I'm not even sure which campaign to think of, but I'm thinking more of like a state-run campaign. So it might be municipality or something at the state level, and we get money from that campaign. And I've updated my iGuide to ensure that whoever lives in my footprint running through that state of Illinois campaign can see those partner agencies, can choose to designate appropriately, and all of that, right? How is the connectivity between eWay and that campaign? Who is actually got it? Is it the state of Illinois that has that's working with their United Way that has the eWay system set up together? And it all trickles down ultimately to me, right? Because I get my Where Raised report through United Way Online. I can see my Where Raised reports. Am I understanding? Like, is that the way it flows?
So I think, and I just want to make sure that I'm going to answer your question. I think you're asking how, if you're running a campaign that's bigger than your footprint, but you are using eWay and but you're basically going to process for outside of your footprint. And how do we ensure that someone outside of your area sees what they're supposed to see for the correct United Way, essentially, when they go through the pledge flow?
Yeah. So, I mean, most United Ways have multiple dollars coming in, right? From all
Right.
these different sources. And it's coming from one specific campaign, but we don't always know that. So is that kind of your tool is going to help us navigate that?
If you are running the campaign, yes, if your United Way is running a campaign and it's bigger than your local, it will help you differentiate between what is yours and what is not yours. Everything is tied to that zip code. So whatever zip code the employee or donor record that you load with, it will trace all of it. That's how it links everything. So yes, you will be able to tell what is yours as opposed to what is not yours. We do have built-in reporting for that. And the way that works is that, we have the iGuide, right? That's what shows on the front end. But that iGuide also talks to what we refer to the gift link table from United Way Worldwide. And all that is a fancy table that says this United Way is tied to this zip code. So that all talks to each other. One to make sure it shows the correct data to the front end user, to the donor when they go through the pledge flow. And then it also drives your reporting on the back end, so you know what dollars are tied to what United Way and what is yours and what is not yours.
Okay, great. There was a question just a minute ago about, is this really more for workplace campaigns?
Yes, so eWay was designed for a workplace campaign, but with FrontStream, we do have other fundraising platforms that we use. So we have a whole suite, depending on what kind of fundraising you're doing. So eWay/workplace is for a workplace campaign. But we also have Bidding for Good, our auction software. So for galas, that kind of stuff, we have peer-to-peer, and also general donation pages, right? You link them up to your website for general donations. And we also have campaigns as well for that. So more so, we're raising money specifically one-to-one. We're raising money for United Way of so-and-so. So workplaces to accommodate for those designations and that typical workplace campaign. But we do have other fundraising tools, which all, again, flow into that donor management system.
And I'm just going to go out on a limb and ask this question, because we did receive from you in the fall some information that we were sharing along to the United Way Network about Giving Tuesday. So could you specifically talk about what you were able to offer, either at no cost or at, what that would look like if I said, I want to run a United Way camp or a Giving Tuesday campaign this year, and I want a landing page set up and I want this to look different than what we internally as a United Way could do. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So every year, we do a big promo where we build out a template. And this isn't just for United Ways, our United Way clients and partners. This is for anyone that has a Panorama, any nonprofit, right, that has a Panorama account with us. We will build a template out, a Giving Tuesday template with the newest logos, all of that. And we literally build it and drop it into your account. Like, you do nothing except publish it. You might make a few tweaks, but it's live, it's ready to go, it has its own URL. So we do that. I think this was our second year, Danielle, that we did that.
Correct.
It's literally zero effort. We all do that, the whole work for you up front and drop it right in your account. So all you gotta do is turn it on.
Yeah, we're trying out.
So it's a very cool thing. People are, everyone is so busy around that time of year too. Nonprofits are so busy around that time. So we really see a lot of success with it.
So I want to ask two questions. One, are there additional polls that we were going to release for this session that we want to take a moment to pause and do that to gauge the group? And I'm not sure, I'm going to lean on Ivy to kind of decide which ones make sense, Danielle. But the one thing I was thinking, we have a lot of people who are off camera, but it would be really great to ask some questions. And I have some thoughts about those questions, but I want to make sure the polls get honored before we do any more with that.
Yes, so on our end, we had 2 more poll questions for FrontStream, or on their behalf, and one of them was what fundraising software you're currently using, and this is kind of, I think, would probably help with the individuals that are wondering, like, what connects, maybe does it connect with what they've already got, and while that is getting answered, Colleen, maybe if you also wanted to share the offer for the free Giving Tuesday pages and things like that, is that available to United Ways and other nonprofits that maybe aren't using FrontStream and are using someone else? Can they have a Giving Tuesday page with you guys while using someone else? Because that might be a question that comes up as well.
I would defer to Danielle on that question. I am not going to. I think I'm definitely going to pass that one to Danielle.
Unfortunately not. I mean, you do have to have some piece of the business because we do have to connect it back to you as a company and a nonprofit for distributing the funds. But I mean, we could we could bring everyone in at an entry level to help them with that, because we do have a lot of traffic. We have a lot of with our Bidding for Good website, we have a lot of people out there that want to do good for nonprofits, that want to participate and find different locations to give to. So that is definitely a conversation that we could have for them, but they do have to have something so we can distro the funds to them.
Got it. And just to, in case anyone wanted to answer the poll quickly, 7 of you have, but I will share the results. And it looks like there's really only 2 minus a comment from Holly. They use fundraise up. But sharing the results, it looks like everyone is split between Andar and FrontStream. That's on the call at least.
There you have it.
And then I think there was one other poll. I will pull that up quickly. And it was just a open answer question to everyone. Just what is your biggest fundraising tech pain point? So maybe you guys are struggling with the one that you have. I know I personally, at my local United Way, we used Andar, and there were so many modules that we could have, but we didn't have, and there was so many issues where, like, you could send emails, mass emails through Andar, but then it would basically shut down Andar for the entirety that the email was sending, and it didn't connect to our constant contact, and there was just so many things, and we were using I can't even remember the website anymore, but we were using something for all of our volunteer stuff, but like they had a module for volunteers. It was, I think our biggest issue was just we had a platform for everything and none of them spoke to each other.
Makes things complicated.
Yes. Oh, and it looks like a couple people also commented. One uses OneCause, two use GiveSmart, and a couple people are mentioning their tech pain points in the poll and in the chat.
Yeah, I see that those issues are still happening. The response.
There was also a question by Gil who asked, do you have an app, or is it accessed through a mobile browser?
It's funny. We're working on an app. Depending on who you ask in our company, it's finished, but I'm not ready for that yet. So right now it is a mobile browser. It does everything that you need, even on a phone. It resizes, but it's on a mobile browser. We have found that most of the constituents that interact with nonprofits tend to be a little bit on the older side, and so the app we're testing that for different age groups, different users, people who are early adopters, who are not, and we haven't found a middle to settle on yet. So the mobile browser seems to be the easiest to operate everything from. So that's where we are. Thank you, Gil, for your questions.
And I will share those results real quick. Maybe. It looks like somebody included that mass sent emails sent via Andar that never get delivered. Ooh, I didn't know about the delivery issues. Often because there are so many spam filters that prevent them from being delivered. Somebody commented lack of mobile support, and somebody said hard to navigate, need better reporting. Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
Reporting is king.
Destiny app and younger user. Wow, is there anything that FrontStream does regarding email, mobile support, or reporting?
Colleen, I'll let you speak first from your side, and then I can speak from the donor management fundraising side if you want.
Sure. So when we say mobile support, as in mobile friendly, I just want to make sure I'm answering the question, or I'm understanding the question. Because yes, eWay is, especially the MPE, MPE is mobile, completely mobile friendly. That flow, that pledge flow, and then the other older flows are. MPE is fully mobile responsive. The other flows are are mobile friendly, so that there's just a little difference there in some of the older flows. But we do have a completely mobile responsive pledge flow.
would be curious, like the mobile support, because there's a couple
Yeah.
of others on the other side, like for fundraising galas and things, we do have a specific team that can go and help run those things for different nonprofits. We do that on the other side of the house. So I'm curious if what exactly kind of you meant by that. But mobile support, we have support every day of the week and after hours and on weekends that help. We also have, the fun tech chatbots, but you can get to a live person. So we're always there to help. And then there was one part of that question I didn't catch. What was the third part that they asked?
Reporting.
Reporting is a big thing for us. We are heavy on reporting because that's what you guys need. You need it for boards. You need it for donors. So we are heavy on reporting, and we're constantly updating what that looks like. How do we get more in the details? We're even having a data scientist, because we've worked with so many nonprofits, go into our data to produce best practices. Here's what we've seen across, even down to when should you send a response? When should you send a thank you? Like looking inside of our software and evaluating what was best practices and passing that along, because that's info that you shouldn't have to learn on your own. So we're trying to take our own pieces of data and help nonprofits on how to do that and how to turnkey that easily. So.
As a data nerd, I love to hear that.
I know. That's why talking to that data scientist, I'm like, it's my favorite thing on the planet. So
I know, I want to talk
very
to
interesting data. And it's massive because we've done this for 20 plus years. So it's interesting, the data that we have access to. So, and with the fun world of AI, it's fun to get to look at that and have it spit out exactly what that needs to look like. So it's an interesting playbook to come.
Yeah. And I don't think we got any more responses from that poll, but if anyone wanted to expand on their tech pain points that they're having with fundraising platforms that they did answer in the chat, or if anyone wants to add any, or if you want to have it remain anonymous, feel free to send me a direct message and I'll drop it in the chat anonymously for you, because I want to make sure that we keep kind of giving you guys the option to ask questions and whatever else you guys want to know about. Whether that's optimizing campaign page design, user experience, your pain points, any of that stuff.
No. If not, I can fire questions at Freddy. Always.
Sure.
Something I have to do. Freddy's game for anything. I love talking
Sure.
to him. So I do have one more. I probably have two more questions, but so being on the receiving end and being a customer of FrontStream, like walk me through, how does FrontStream, especially on that workplace side, how do they stay connected with their United Way partners and build that strong partnership and that relationship?
Well, I think just like we mentioned earlier, just having that source and then being able to reach out for specific needs that you may need for your fundraising needs that are not necessarily built in to the application itself, but maybe that can be worked out in conjunction with the tech team, so that way they can, maybe build that as an enhancement or maybe tailor make something that's existing in the product already that you may not be familiar with. So that's pretty crucial. That's been pretty helpful.
Yeah, and Danielle, I can jump in from our side too, and how us as a workplace team on the FrontStream side, we really we're big on communication, and Freddy knows. Like we want to talk to you. Come in, but we want to see your face and have a conversation. How is campaign season going? What can we help you with? So we try to at least meet with everyone quarterly. We would prefer monthly, we'll take bi-monthly or quarterly, but communication is big for us. So, we're committed to being present for you from that side. And, we want to check in regularly and we want to offer that consistent support. So, and then when we meet with you more, and Freddy, you've already talked about this, we've been down this road for 2025. If we meet with you more, we know what you need and we can customize training, right? So you don't have to get a blanket
Right.
training like I already know this, right? We
Hmm.
get to know what your specific needs are, so that we can build that custom training for you and work that out. And then we build a good partnership, and then we become advocates internally for you, right? So when you need something or there is a pain point, or you have an enhancement request, we can take that in internally with the dev team and the prod team and the leadership team and say, hey, we've met with all of our resellers, and four of them are saying the same thing, like let's bump this up the priority list. So it's really how we kind of keep that moving and keep that true partnership.
Love that. That's very helpful, as I'm sure it's helpful for the United Ways on the line. Okay, Freddy, last question. Maybe, we'll see. What surprised you most about working with FrontStream?
I think that the most surprising thing was a lot of the items that we needed as a business were already built in. So it really kind of was like a glove fit for us in terms of a lot of the things that we do, so that we didn't really have to modify, enhance, or ask for much more than what was already provided. We have in the past, um, like Colleen has mentioned, had interactions where we have asked for modifications and changes. So having that relationship, but already an existing product that for most United Ways will already be built in for business needs has been key because um, having to adapt, especially quickly during campaign season or for fundraising needs for our workplace campaigns, um, in order in order to do that adeptly, quickly, having that relationship with the front street staff has been super great.
I love hearing that.
So, the question, Christine, that if I had any workplace campaigns that were used to using paper platforms and converted to online, that's been the case with all of our clients that use FrontStream. It was for that purpose, especially given the fact that, for example, there was a processing unit that handled multiple areas. So having to integrate multiple paper campaigns where things were scattered everywhere. So this having this product integrated all pledges to have one site so that everybody can have the same pledge experience across a large swath of territories has was crucial in converting a lot of our workplace campaigns to this platform.
If I may ask, were they um, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Were they like manufacturing facilities? So our largest account is a manufacturing facility, and they're just, machinists and those type of folks who some of them don't even have, email addresses. Um, so there's a lot of resistance there on management's part.
You know what? We heard the same um, statement said to us a lot. And then we're saying, well, a lot of people aren't, uh, when it comes to their work, their day to work, they're not in front of a computer. So, it's going to be difficult. But, you know, modern, modern people nowadays, they're savvy when it comes to like their phones, and they may not be at work in front of a computer, but everyone has a mobile phone. And it's super easy when we converted to a lot of these campaigns to this platform. That was their hesitancy at the beginning, but the people that were out in the field or service orientated, they were able to log in and they had no issues. And their pledge participation rate went up almost like 20% the first year when we converted one company. So it's I think I don't know why that they kind of assume that that's going to happen, that people are not going to pledge simply just because they don't have access to a front computer in front of them, but we didn't find that to be the case.
Yeah, and Freddie, I would jump in here too, because we do have a couple campaigns that we run, national campaigns that are in that space. So they have a lot of warehouses, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And we've seen those clients do things like they'll set up a kiosk, with a computer, especially with SSO, log in, click the link, capture your pledge, get a, incentive, in a break room, lunchroom, that kind of thing. And then eWay does have capabilities to import pledges as well. So they might, maybe you have some that still are, you do have to do a pledge form, but you don't have to manually enter those in. You can do an import, right? Capture that data and import it right into the system too. So we've seen some other ways that they get around that, not, sitting at a desk and getting an email. So.
Right.
One thing I wanted to mention quickly, and there's a bunch of chatter in the chat, so I know that it'll probably come up and there might be some more questions. But I just wanted to mention for anybody that might have to hop off and go to a next meeting on the hour, that any questions that you have, we can still try to answer in the recording. Feel free to drop them. I will make sure that you guys get a recording replay, as well as any resources mentioned, any links, anything like that. If you guys are looking for that article on the Free Giving Tuesday pages, or you want to set up like a free demo with them, we've got all the links for those. And if you have any other questions, just let us know. Otherwise, I just wanted to say thank you all for joining today, and those that are watching the recording, as well as a special shout out to Danielle, Colleen, and Freddy, and our event programming sponsors, FrontStream, Third Sector Company, and Board Build. And then at the end of this event, once we wrap up all the questions and everything and closing comments, there will be a 3-question survey for you guys to fill out, just to make sure that we are meeting your needs, we are providing the resources that you guys are looking for, and we are just giving you the best experience as United Way Next members and United Way professionals. So other than that, that is my entire spiel, so I will hand it back to Colleen, Freddy, Carol, and Danielle.
Very good. Okay, I think we're about to wrap up. We will send out, we do have a 1-page of a promo that we're running for the webinar. There is a reseller package that we do for United Way. Some of you may be familiar. That will also have the info on here. And then if you layer on top donor management, adding to it, we're offering a discount for that. It's almost at a 50% rate. So because it is important, if you're going to do fundraising and you're going to do campaigns, to be able to know who you're talking to and to kind of have that CRM part of the system. So we will be sending that out after the webinar.
Well, thank you, Danielle.
Oh, of course.
Freddy, you guys did a great job. Thanks to those of you who hung in there to the end, and to Ivy for all your help with the coordination of today's event. We are grateful to FrontStream for being a sponsor of United Way Next, and not just that, in partnership to support local United Ways and really bring value to the network. So I really encourage people who are struggling with anything and they're not sure where to turn, to just take a chance and connect with the FrontStream team to see if they can be a good partner for you and your local United Way. I know I personally would have benefited years ago by working with a organization and a partner like FrontStream, especially because they understand United Way. It's a little bit different because of the relationship. So Colleen.
Correct. And we have a lot of alums, United Way alums that are here. I'm not the only one. So we do have, we've
collected them along the years.
Yes, I think our oldest one, and if he heard me call him old, he'd probably kill me. But yeah, Alex is, I think, going on 40 years. So he was United Way Tri-State and has seen it all the way through. He was there in 99 when they started building it. So he's been for the whole ride. So, and he's with us still. So we have a collective, a very long collective history with United Way. So we get it.
Well, again, thanks to Freddy and Colleen and Danielle for today's session, and to all of you for being a part of the presentation. And we'll look forward to seeing you at our next United Way Next event for the United Way professionals in the network. We are offering a planned giving session next week, Wednesday. I know Ivy's got a lot of great information that'll be included in the follow-up email. We look forward to seeing you at that next event. Have a great day, everybody. And